What's up, Seahawks fans? We are back in the win category, 6-1, taking over the NFC as the top seed. It was a weird division, or it was a weird week this week. The Packers lost, the Rams lost, and the Seahawks number one in the NFC. Here's a pretty good recap. The defense looked outstanding. Here are our thoughts. And we get Carlos Dunlap in a trade. Jamal Adams is coming back. Things are looking good. Looking forward to week 9. You know who started the game for us at running back? RB5.
Was it 4 or 5?
5.
Was it 5? Holy shit.
Listen to our lineup. Our lineup is pretty sick at running back. Chris Carson.
Yes.
Rashad Penny.
Okay, then
coming
5.
back in a few weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. I haven't heard the exact update. Then Carlos Hyde. Then Travis Homer.
Yep.
Number 5, DJ Dallas. And he's like, in terms of 5th string running backs, he's got to be at the top. Like, he's a rookie, so he hasn't really seen he's touched the ball a few times, but in earlier weeks, but
he just seems like a fun guy.
Great, man.
He's
totally.
a 22-year-old rookie.
He's having fun, man.
He's so much fun.
Smiling all the time. Yeah, he was loving it.
And he
ran very hard.
Yeah, very hard.
Yeah.
He had a running touchdown and then a receiving touchdown also.
Yeah, big game. You know, this is so cool. I was listening to a post-game press conference with Russ, and it must, like, talking in this podcast, it must sound like I have nothing to do. Listening to post-game press conferences on Facebook after the game, listening to Russ and DK and Bobby and Pete chat about the game. Russ, in a post-game press conference, when asked about DJ Dallas and his rock star performance, Russ says, you know what? I know the kid can play. I went up to him before the game and I said, hey, everyone starts somewhere. I started in Seattle 9 years ago, whatever. No one thought I was any good. Everyone starts somewhere. This is your start, bro. Go get it.
Man, that must mean the world to him, eh?
It's huge, eh?
Huge. And he got 18 carries, so I mean, they trust him. They ran everything through him.
But on the other hand, like 18 carries is not a lot for a traditional Seahawks team.
Nope. Not at all.
We don't need to talk much about the impressiveness of the bounce back. So last week was not a rock star performance in terms of the Seahawks overall, and was our first loss of the season. This week, like, much better. The offense started pretty slow, but after that, it was unstoppable. Our first 3 drives of the game were, I think, punt.
Yeah.
Like 3 and outs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not good. But Russ had a Russell Wilson game. He was 27 for 37, 261 yards, 4 touchdowns, QB rating of 128.
Ooh. So big bounce back. And we talked about it last week.
Like, and I was watching him pretty closely this week just to see if there was, it's easy to say a interception is a mistake, and that is sometimes true and sometimes not true. Like, Marco and I were talking last night about when a quarterback hits a receiver in the hands and it deflects up into the air and a DB or linebacker intercepts it, should that count as an interception against the quarterback?
Do you think it should be a fumble on the wide receiver?
Like, I don't know how else you would diagnose that stat. Like in baseball, the errors and stuff like that, or pitching is a good example. Mm-hmm. If you throw a pitch and it goes to the backstop, like the catcher does not catch it, it can be categorized as either a wild pitch or an error on the catcher.
Okay.
Like if you throw a strike down the middle and the catcher just doesn't catch it and it goes to the backstop and the runner advances, an error and a catcher. Whereas if you throw it 26 feet over his head, it's a wild pitch, an error against the pitcher.
So we should introduce errors in football.
Well, I'm not saying it needs to be done. I'm just saying like you can't look at the interception stat and negatively affect a quarterback to me.
Because it was a perfect pass by the quarterback, right? He could have done nothing different.
And that happened a couple times early in the year. Like Russ has 6 picks this year, 3 of which were last week. All 3 blatantly his fault, which we've acknowledged. But I think 2 out of the first 3 were like, I remember the Greg Olsen one early in the year where it literally hit him right in the chest and the hands and he just deflected it up in the air. I don't know what I'm getting at with this, but I was watching Russ pretty closely because those 3 passes last week that were picked were very un-Russell Wilson-like. And he had a pretty flawless game in terms of making good decisions. Like not forcing anything. He threw the ball away a few times.
He just looks super calm and confident, right?
But that's normal.
Yeah.
He always is.
Every pass. That's good.
A lot of guys had big games. So I think it's important to note that there's a couple things. Our defense is not good yet. They had the potential to be good. And the pickup of Carlos Dunlap was big this week, I think. It can only help. We had 3 sacks this week.
Yes.
Which is an improvement. We rushed the quarterback. We got pressure on the quarterback, which is great. Jimmy G looked very poor. Unfortunately, he's injured for you Niners fans out there. And he's going to be out 6 weeks.
That's tough.
Yeah. Let's look at our defense. We have Bruce Irvin out for the year. We have Jamal Adams. I think, was that his 4th or 5th game he's missed? 4th maybe?
With the bye. So
4th plus a bye maybe.
I think so.
Yeah. Shaquille Griffin was out, our number 1 corner.
Mm-hmm.
And we had our best defensive game of the year. So we were just chatting about this as you walked in. The game was 30-7 and really over with 11 minutes left. And then whatever. San Fran scores a couple touchdowns. Not really concerned about. I like that it was still a double-digit win because we don't get many of those.
No, but the game was further apart than the score shows.
Oh, it wasn't even close.
Well, he scored 20 points in the 4th.
Yeah, it wasn't close. According to me, it wasn't that close.
No, not at all.
It was 30-7, I think, in the 4th quarter. So I think we scored first in the 4th quarter. Out of a field goal, I think. The D. I'm pumped to get Carlos Dunlap. I think is a big pickup, and we gave away not a lot for him. I don't know much about him, and I talked to a few friends that have heard his name and watched him a little bit. He's in Cincinnati, so it's not like I'm watching their football games. They've been pretty tragic for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, he's a pretty good athlete who just has had nothing to play for, so he hasn't really put up big stats. But I think in Seattle, a guy like that who maybe needs some exterior motivation, I think is going to be as good as he can be, surrounded by Bobby Wagner, the ultimate defensive workhorse, who was outstanding this week. Jamal Adams, who is superstar hype man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then Shaq Griffin, too, is a pretty energetic, loud, rah kind of guy. Mm-hmm. So I think surrounded and think of yourself as a professional athlete, people out there. You're making $5 to $7 million a year, regardless, really, of your effort. You could put in a 75% effort, play mediocre, but your team sucks. So your team's going to be 6-10, 5-11, whatever it is. Every year, you're not going to make the playoffs. What motivation do you have being 2-5 to start the year, 2-6, to work your ass off on every single play.
If the front office isn't making moves at all and it's like the same problem year after year, then zero. Zero.
Right?
You're giving up your body. You're sacrificing so much, and for what?
Whereas halfway through the year, you are traded to, at the time, right now, the Seahawks are the top team in the NFC. You're traded to the best team in the NFC with the MVP, the most, let's say one of the most 2 or 3 most exciting offenses in the league, and a defense that is underperforming. To me, that is pretty motivating. Like a team that playing well has a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl. You have a couple rock stars around you.
Get the best quarterback.
You don't need to worry about the offense. Like your job, the reason that they brought you in here is to get a couple, like a few pressures on the quarterback a game.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think that's pretty motivating. Like I think that is something to play for.
It's almost like a career restart, right?
Totally, man.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
For me, I think I've liked Jaron Reed a lot. He's been playing well. I think he has a potential to actually like separate himself for the rest of the line, like superstar wise.
So he's a tackle.
Yeah, and they're going to put Dunlap on the same side of him. So I think that's going to help Jaron Reed even more.
And then on the other side is going to be Snacks.
Big
And
Snooks.
I have no idea what type of, how much that guy has left in the tank. No idea. I've seen him at practice with a half shirt on, and he does not look in good shape.
Really? I heard. Yeah. No, he doesn't, does he?
Well,
People say he's a freak, though.
There's a reason he hasn't been elevated off the practice squad, because like he's not in physical condition to play in the NFL. I don't know. I've never really watched him play. He's from Detroit, right? I think.
Cincinnati. Or for his hometown?
No, Snacks, Harrison.
Oh,
Dunlap is from Cincinnati.
Correct.
Detroit, right?
Yeah. Damon Harrison.
So I never watched him at all.
He's from Detroit, yeah.
But, and I don't know what condition he's in. I don't know if he's going to be able to play 25% of the snaps, 50% of the snaps. I have no idea. But I feel like Schneider's got to be up there with one of the top GMs in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's done a really, really good job putting this team together with like low round draft picks and like picking guys up for very little in trades.
100%.
That are just kind of no-namers but fit into the system really well. And then he goes out of his way to get like a stud like Jamal Adams. I personally think the Clowney move was a good move.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they offered him 13 and they held firm at that.
Yeah.
And he wanted his 17 or 18, whatever. And what did Tennessee eventually give him like 15
I think
plus
it was 15,
a bonus?
yeah.
Plus if he gets X number of shit, then he gets an extra $2 million bonus or something.
He hasn't been doing so well over there.
I haven't really paid attention to him at all, but it's hard, man. It's hard to demand a lot of money when you played 6 games last year.
I know.
And at times he was really, really dominant. But I agree that, you know, I had this conversation with Mike Bell the other day. He might be the most knowledgeable man on football that I know. On stats and shit like that. And he was saying the value of a superstar pass rusher is so much higher than a superstar safety. Because a superstar pass rusher makes defensive backs look good. Because they only have to cover
Yes, I get that.
the receivers for 3
Right.
seconds versus 6.
Right.
Like it's such a big difference. If you're trying to cover the best athletes in the world, like DK Metcalf, like Tyler Lockett, like those guys,
One-on-one.
like Julio Jones, like all those guys, it's impossible to do it for 6 seconds.
Yeah, impossible.
They're going to get open. And if there's a good quarterback on the other side, like Russ, like Mahomes, like whoever that can get out of the pocket and make like extend plays, they're going to be open.
They just need a half a step and they're going to get it.
So that was his thing. That was his comment was, if you have a good pass rusher, they will make the DBs look good because they only have to cover for 3 seconds versus a good safety is going to get beat by the best athletes in the world if they have 7-8 seconds to run routes.
That makes complete sense. Because essentially it's the quarterback that controls everything, right? So you want to limit him as best as you can.
He says most valuable positions on the football field, quarterback number 1, pass rush number 2.
Yeah.
Least value. So let's say most overrated. Most overrated positions on the football field. Hold on. Let me go back to most valuable positions on the football field. Quarterback number 1, pass rush number 2, O-line number 3. The opposite of that, most overrated, running back number 1.
Really? Okay.
A good offensive line makes a mediocre running back look like a superstar. So running back is number 1, and then...
And a superstar running back is very hard for him to make a shitty offensive line look good.
A superstar running back will not be a superstar if his offensive line sucks. Totally. Props to our offensive line. Our offensive line has been way better than I thought they were going to be this year. Comparing to last year,
it's not even close. It's different.
So
teams.
different, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what the difference is. Like, it's a lot of the same guys. We have that Damian Lewis, who's the rookie. I think he's a right guard. Is that right or wrong? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he's a right guard. Who is a big dude and a very athletic guy. And I think he's been helping a lot. Dwayne Brown, dude, the NFL and the people on TV and the camera crews do a really good job of like isolating players throughout a game. So they had a couple plays throughout the game where they like isolated Dwayne Brown and they were just talking about like people whose name rarely get mentioned, but are extremely valuable to the football team. And he's like one of the best in the league, I think. They showed him on a couple plays where it was like kind of a screenplay. So his job, like, he's the left
right guard. Damian Lewis?
Damian Lewis is right guard.
Yep.
Damon or Damian? Damon. Damian Lewis. And Dwayne Brown is the left tackle.
Correct.
So they always say that your best offensive lineman is your left tackle, or it should be your best tackle. The reason for that is 99% of quarterbacks are right-handed,
right,
and that's your blind side, so that you're protecting your greatest asset, which is your quarterback.
They had a segment on left-handed quarterbacks, and it was insane how much left-handed quarterbacks changed the game. Because now your best rusher is on the opposite side. And also, when they throw the ball, it spins the other way. I've never even thought about that.
What's the guy's name? The really good tight end who's the commentator now? Gonzalez.
What's
Tony? His name? Tony Gonzalez. Yeah. He was talking about playing with a left-handed quarterback in college or something like that, and he said it took him a few weeks to get used to it, and they would like practice after, like just run routes after practice to get used to catching the ball. And like I think about it in terms of golf. Like when you hit the ball in golf, there's side spin on it.
Yeah.
And if you're right-handed and you hit like a cut or a slice, it's spinning and going to the
just
right.
naturally,
right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're left-handed, you're hitting a cut, it's spinning and going to the left. It's kind of the same in football. Like if I throw the ball right-handed, there's spin on it, and the longer it's in the air, the more it's going to drift with the wind because of the spin.
Yeah.
But as a left-hander,
well, it kind of drifts to the right.
It has the opposite spin. So the longer it's in the air, it's going the other way.
Apparently, Jerry Rice and Steve Young had that problem. And it took Jerry Rice a bit to actually get used to it because it made that big of a difference.
And Steve Young.
Steve Young's a lefty.
No way.
Yeah.
Steve Young's right-handed.
No way. They were talking about the greatest left-handed. How many left-handed quarterbacks can you name?
I can name 2.
Yeah, Steve Young is the first left-handed quarterback to earn the Pro Bowl Hall of Fame.
He's left? I didn't know that. Huh. Crazy.
You can name 2, you said?
Steve Young played for the 49ers. I don't give a fuck about him.
And who's the other guy?
Mike Vick.
That's the only guy I knew.
And Tua.
Yeah.
He's the new one. That's why they did this segment, because he was starting this week. He had a very mediocre game. His defense played extremely well. There's a couple big upsets this week that are very, very worth talking about, and both benefited Denny and the Seahawks greatly. One, the Dolphins pump the Rams. What the hell happened? I didn't watch much of the game. Though their defense had 4 turnovers, I think. Their defense played really well, the Dolphins. And the other... Oh, the Packers lost.
Packers lost to the fucking Minnesota.
Back-to-back games, the Packers lost. Right?
No, I think they lost one and then they lost again.
Okay. Because maybe 2 weeks ago they got pumped by the Bucks.
I think the Packers are kind of struggling a little bit similar to the Seahawks, as in like their offense is fantastic, but it's their defense that's slowing them down a little bit.
I talked to Mike Bell weekly about NFL, and he says that the Packers are not very good. Is it 14-3?
That is correct.
Holy fuck. The worst team in the league. This would be the biggest upset of the week, dude.
This would be fantastic.
The Giants are literally the worst team in the league. The Giants and the Jets are battling every week for who can fuck up more. Who is shittier. Every week. It's the battle in New York for 31st and 32nd in the league.
But like with a win here, don't the Giants keep their playoff hopes alive?
Is that what?
Because they're in the NFC East, right?
Oh yeah, how tragic is that division?
So right now the Eagles are leading the division with 3 wins. So yeah, they'll be tied with 2 wins if they win this.
Man, that division is so brutal. Going into the week, listen to this, Carl. Going into the week, the Seahawks division was 19-8.
Wow.
Going into the week, the NFC East total teams had a total of 7 wins.
That's brutal. And yet they fucking televise the most still.
The Cowboys, eh?
Yeah.
Man,
but the Eagles, like the Giants, like...
I understand that most teams do not have an option for QB3, right? I understand.
That's a tough position.
Man, it's so bad. But that guy was just so awful that last night. DeLucci. I guess you gotta trade for somewhere. You gotta find like a backup who could be a starter.
But then what? They have to learn your entire playbook, like, and just fill the role. That's why the role of QB is the hardest. It's by far the hardest, and teams completely fall apart in their second or third string QB. I don't know. Like, so what? Even if, like, who's left out there for QBs?
I don't know. And
go get Fitzpatrick from the Dolphins.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. He's been on like what? 26 of the 32 teams. Might as well keep it going.
So many guys have just the backup QB career, eh? Just filled the right roles. It's totally so funny. And
he's been doing it forever.
Forever. He's never been a number 1 QB ever.
No. He'll start a couple games every year.
Yeah.
Because he's always on shitty teams that like are whatever 3-9. And they're like, might as well switch it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Quarterbacks are dead.
And then Fitzpatrick comes in, has 2 weeks of magic.
Yeah.
And then they end the year 5-11, and he goes to another team next year.
That is so true.
Tua did not have a good week.
Mm-mm.
I think he threw for 98 yards or something. But I like that they're giving him a chance. I know we were talking about this with Mike the other week. Oh, good. The Bucks put up a field goal. Congratulations, boys. You're down 14-6 to the worst team in the league.
He had 93 yards, 1 touchdown on 22 passes. Attempts.
92 yards on
93.
He only threw the ball 22 times.
Mm-hmm.
I think their defense had 2 scores though, didn't they?
They did.
They had 4 turnovers for sure. One was a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
They had a rushing touchdown too. And then they had a receiving touchdown and then 2 defensive touchdowns.
Okay. That's nice.
That is nice.
When your defense puts up 14 points, it's hard to lose games when your defense scores 14.
Goff threw 61 attempts. That is a lot.
How many yards?
355, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Man, the Dolphins defense played phenomenal. It's exciting. You know what? We talked a lot about defense. I'm pumped that they had I would hope that this is a breakout game. Mm-hmm. And we keep saying this, but we're going to see how good the Seahawks are for the next 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we had a really tough game against the Cardinals, lost by 3. This week, pumped the Niners. Mm-hmm. So I've been talking about the Seahawks offense as one of, if not the best offense in the league. And nothing has proven me wrong yet. People that I tell this to tell me that we haven't played a good defense yet. And I disagree because I think New England's defense is decent. And Arizona's defense is pretty good too. And we put 34 up on them, I think.
Yep. 37. No, sorry, 34.
30. Yeah, we lost by 3. The Niners were, I'm not sure what they are now, but they were in the top 5 in every defensive category, or like the main 5 defensive categories: points allowed, whatever, rush yards allowed, whatever. We put up 37.
We did whatever we wanted to.
And in the second half, just kind of coasted because, well, I guess they scored a lot of points in the third quarter, early in the third. But
if our defense doesn't step up in that first quarter, second quarter, then it's a typical Seattle game. We're probably playing from behind, eh?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like teams, I'm learning this more and more as I'm watching NFL a lot more. I feel like teams have a first half game plan and they just stick to the first half game plan, and then they see what is the score at halftime.
They analyze, yeah.
And then change the game plan completely. And that's what Seattle was really good at in the first, good. I'm being super sarcastic when I say good. Really terrifying at. They would go into the first half and be like, we're going to establish the run. We're going to run the ball 25 times in the first half. And then they come out of the first half rushing the ball 22 times for 42 yards and down 17-3 at halftime. And they're like, Russ, can you help us out here?
Yeah.
And then they'll win the game 24-21 because they fucking throw the ball in the second half. But this year, it's slightly different. Russ is getting a lot more opportunity. Threw the ball 37 times this week, which being up most of the game, I'd say is on the higher end of what the Seahawks are going to see. But I like that against one of the best defenses in the league, top 5 in most categories, you still can't stop us. And I haven't seen anyone that's done it good yet. No one. I think we've scored over 30 points in every game but one this year. And we won, one of the games we won like 27-24.
Yeah, I think the only game that we didn't score over 30 was the Seahawks-Vikings.
When we offered in the first half. And then put up 27 in the second.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
That's the only game. Man.
I want you... So when Carl came over today, I don't know if I've ever seen him that excited. Talking about the bounce back win. Talking about how the game was not close. What is your current feeling on the state of the Seahawks in the NFC?
I think all the games previously to this one were just so close, right? You get within one score, so you don't really see like that dominance. Like, are the Seahawks really a team that can make a run for the Super Bowl? I think this was the first game all year that we've seen what they can do. Like you were mentioning, like San Francisco has a real defense, and we just did whatever we wanted. Mm-hmm. Our defense showed up. We made a bunch of stops, and we looked like a full, complete team on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. I think if we fucking play like this, I think, we're going to go far. But we have to focus and like keep this level of play. We can't regress to last week. We just got to keep going forward, man. But it was good to see, and I'm pumped.
It's weirdly exciting when you see a defense perform really well, right?
It's fucking exciting, man. You get pumped.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Like there was one play that I saw a bunch of people repost on social this week where Bobby Wagner comes on a blitz. He hits the guard in the chest. The guard bounces backwards and hits the tight end, who is also trying to block him. Both fall down, and Bobby Wagner is falling down to his left, grabs the quarterback's ankle for a sack.
Freak. You can't teach that, man.
I've never seen something like that before.
You're just playing dominoes out there with defenders.
He bulldozed two dudes that combined weight is 300 or 650 pounds.
Fuck. I mean, he's a special player, dude.
He's one of a generation.
And he's fun to watch. He's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think Jamal Adams is going to come back. I think we're going to be talking about the defense a lot more. I think it's going to be fun.
One of the really cool things about Bobby Wagner is he never, ever takes one play off.
Nope.
And Jamal Adams is the exact same. And I think a healthy Seahawks defense with Jamal Adams, with Bobby Wagner, with, what's his name? Carlos Dunlap. Jaron Reed.
KJ Wright still, man.
Snacks. Snack. I just love saying fucking snacks. Like, when am I going to get to announce snacks? I'm going to be yelling it all next week if he suits up. Here's the Seahawks highlights. That first touchdown at DK was stupid. Also, Hollister, great block there.
We haven't mentioned DK once this podcast.
Dude,
I think
what do you
he
need to say
deserves
about that dude, man? He wore a pink fucking suit to the game, and he showed up and had, 12 receptions?
161 yards, 2 touchdowns.
What are you going to say about him?
What is there to say?
He's a freak, man.
We just keep riding on his back, man. I hope him and Russ just keep getting better and better. And there's no one in the fucking league that can guard him. 1-on-1, throw it up there. He's coming down with it. There's no one in the league, man.
Peterson did a good job last week.
He did, but it was more than just Peterson. I mean, especially like if you do that, then you're going to leave someone open, right? Like Lockett had that huge game.
That's the problem right there.
You can't stop it all.
And that's Mike Bell's argument against why DK is not in a conversation with Calvin Johnson. Is Calvin Johnson had no one else on his team for his entire career.
No quarterback, nothing.
And he put up all those numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas DK has the luxury of being in one-on-one coverage most of the game. And he is just a way better physical specimen than anyone else on the field. And so he just beats guys one-on-one. But Calvin Johnson, on the other hand, got double teamed most of his career because there was no Tyler Lockett.
The defense was completely planning for him, right?
Dude, David Moore
completely shut him out.
David Moore is a really good number 3, right?
He's amazing. He shows up exactly when you need him, man.
Great hands, runs good routes, and he catches the ball. And he's like, he probably looks good because he's playing against like linebackers and
but still, man,
it's still dude. Someone needs to fill that job, and he's doing he's had a much better year than I would have thought going into 2020.
He had another touchdown last game.
Much better, man. What is his numbers this year?
He's a scoring machine,
right? He only has 16 receptions, but it feels like he's very averaged out.
Because he's scoring on like 30% of them, dude.
It feels like every week we're seeing him catch 3 or 4 balls, and that number's not right because he has 16 receptions over 7 games. So he only catches 2 to 3 balls a game.
It's not a lot.
But he's got 3 touchdowns. And he's solid.
We remember all of his catches.
Totally.
He sticks out so much, eh?
They're big plays.
They are big plays. I feel like teams kind of, they're fucking watching Metcalf and Lock, and they kind of forget about him a little bit, And Russ is looking out for him.
How do you game plan against the Seattle Seahawks if you're a defensive coordinator right now? Go. Tell me, what are you going to do when, like, Will Dissly and Greg Olsen both are great tight end options.
So consistent.
And then there's 3, like, let's say David Moore is a decent receiver in the NFL across the board. Decent. Not top 30. But there's 2 guys that are in the top 15.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You're crying, dude. I mean, what can you do?
I guess no one's figured it out yet. So no one has an answer.
Just got to control the long ball, but then
But no one's done that.
No one, no. And we still, like, Chris Carson was injured last week. The running game this year has not been as, like, relied upon as much this year as it was last year. So, I mean, hopefully that comes back a little bit too, but
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
It's an attribute.
With these wide receivers?
Totally. It's a...
which is fantastic.
When you have a quarterback and a receiving core like we have, the running game is a second thought, and it is not what teams are game planning against, which makes it look good, right? Like Carson will have 14 carries and 80 yards, and that is, I'm totally on board with that every game.
Yeah. Throw in a couple receptions.
DK, so DK's averaging 97 yards a game and 1 touchdown in the first 7 games.
That's pretty good.
36 receptions through 7 games, which is what?
1 million.
6 receptions a game? 5.5?
Yeah. 5.5.
5.5. Man, it's a good time to be a Seahawks fan. This is a very, very, very fun year. It's the NFL is so strange. The NFL is so weird that like injuries will kill a Super Bowl run season, right?
Oh yeah, so
like
easily.
the wrong guy goes down.
It's a different team,
completely different.
Mm-hmm.
In any other sport, is that the case?
No, because you still have guys that buy into the system and still run their plays, still do all that, right? But in football, you have that one guy that's just leading everything.
I was talking to a guy who's a Chiefs fan today, and he was like sharing stats, Mahomes versus Wilson this year.
Yeah.
And I say, got 2 comments. One is, as far as I know, the NFL has never handed out an MVP award after week 8. Number 2, these 2 guys, I've said from the beginning of the year, are by far not even close. Like no one is even close to these 2 guys. And I can't make an argument either way. I don't know Mahomes' game as well. I know that Wilson is top 2. That's all I know. But no one's close. That's my comment is that I don't need to have an argument, Mahomes versus Wilson. I don't care. One of them, I think this year is going to win the Super Bowl, as long as like health-wise is fine. But like no one in the league could replace either of them.
No one. I don't.
It's not even close though, Carl.
Could you even imagine that? It's a fucking completely different team.
It's not even close. Like you put an average quarterback, let's say average being like a Ryan Tannehill.
Sure, but he's been playing pretty good last couple. But
he's not a guy that you revolve the offense around who's just going to help you. When it's 3rd and 7, you just say, I don't know, figure it out, Russ. Right?
Yeah.
Play action. You can call some sort of scheme where receivers run 7 different routes.
Yeah.
But he's just going to extend the play and he's going to wait till someone gets open and he's going to hit them in the chest.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill needs, 2 people are running slants. I'm going to take 3 steps. I'm going to throw it to one of them. He's like, I watched one of his games this year and he is not an elite quarterback.
He also has like the best running back in the league to dump the ball off.
I also haven't watched
on that.
100%. I haven't watched Jared Allen, so I can't really comment on him, but I would assume that you sub Jared Allen into the Seahawks for Russell Wilson and their record goes from 6-1 to 3-4, 4-3.
Yes. Yeah. Easily. I think so. They just become a mediocre team, middle of the pack.
It's different.
Because now your defense is still struggling, but now your offense fucking comes way down.
You're running the ball more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's boring.
Very
I think.
boring.
What else, Carl?
Wait, you said Jared Allen?
What's the guy's name? Josh Allen?
Kyle Allen? Josh Allen? There's too many quarterbacks.
What's the Buffalo guy's name?
Kyle Allen.
Kyle? I could have fucking sworn it started with
It's Josh Allen. I'm sorry.
Josh, thank you.
There's probably...
Who's Jared?
Jared Allen is an American curler.
That's 100% who I was talking about.
And then Kyle Allen is quarterback for the football team, the Washington football team. And then we have Josh Allen. I think there's 8 or 9 quarterbacks with 2 first names in the league right now.
Josh. So it's Josh Allen?
Yeah.
He's the Buffalo guy?
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Right. That's how many times I've watched him. I can't remember his name. Who the hell's Jared Allen? What quarterback is the first name Jared?
Goff.
Jared Goff?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I thought it was Josh Goff.
No.
Jared Allen.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
There's too many of them.
Pumped for next week. Next week in Buffalo against the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are now 5-2.
The Buffalo Bills are now... They are 6-2.
6-2. They beat...
They got a 2-game winning streak right now.
They beat the New England Patriots 24-21. The New England Patriots, all you Patriots fans out there, 2-5. Yikes. Tough start.
What is going on there, man?
I don't think they're... Oh, no.
That was really bad.
Oh, and that's why you're one of the worst football teams in the league when you throw duck picks like that.
Daniel Jones just
Who
throws
is that?
The quarterback or the guy who caught
Who's
it?
the quarterback?
Daniel Jones?
Who's that?
Exactly. He's the guy who...
Man, what a terrible decision.
This guy is the guy who replaced Eli.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was fucking awful.
Yikes. I really hope the Giants don't throw this one away. It's not looking good. Next week in Buffalo against the Bills, Jared Allen. Josh Allen? How's his name?
Josh Allen.
Just call him Allen. What did you say, Kyle?
Kyle Allen is the Washington football team quarterback.
Washington. Can someone answer the question? I've Googled it so many times. Who is in charge of naming Washington's football team? When are they going to have a name? How are they having a name? Is it like a fan vote? Are they going to provide 3 options and the fans vote? Like what's happening here?
Dude, they're making a killing on merchandise right now. Everyone wants a shirt that says football team on it. I'm just kidding. Dude, it's all, I don't know. Their owner...
What is happening?
Their owner is like arguing with a bunch of big companies and I don't think they can decide on anything.
How long does it take to provide options?
I don't know. This is a very good question.
What's the owner's name?
I'm
gonna go out on a limb and say it's Bruce
Daniel Snyder
Johnson. Oh, it's pretty close. Generic white guy.
He's 20 years into his reign as the owner of the Washington football team. 20 years.
Bruce Schneider?
Daniel Snyder.
Daniel Schneider. Can you can you send him an email or call him?
Yeah, I got it right here.
I don't understand. Pick a goddamn name. Like, is he just concerned about repainting the field? So he's just going to let 2020 ride and try to pick something for 2021?
I think so. They got all their jerseys and their merchandise.
They're not making the playoffs anyway, so they might as well just put an NFL logo right in the middle of your stadium. What is this? Where are we? This is Tampa? Tampa's wearing home jerseys. They have an NFL logo in the middle of their stadium.
Just a generic one?
That? Yeah.
What the
No, this is the Giants stadium. Seems strange. All right, next week in Buffalo, 1:00 game.
The Buffalo game is at 10.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
That is, man, they always try to fuck the West Coast teams by playing the early games there over there. What do you think, Carl?
I think if we can control Josh Allen or Kyle Allen, whoever's playing, I think that's key. Bills have a solid defense, but that doesn't really scare me because we saw last week what they did to San Francisco.
Until someone can show me that it is possible to stop the Seahawks offense, every single game I'm over 34 points.
Yeah, and I don't think, like in a shootout, I don't think the Bills can keep up with Russell Wilson and the Seahawks.
Agree.
I think it's going to be a high-ass scoring game.
High-ass.
But the Seahawks will come out on top.
Score.
Whoa! I'm going to go, I like 37. 37 sticking out. To go 37 to 27? No. That's up. I'm going to 31. 37 to 31.
Okay.
I think high scoring.
I got 34-27.
Let's go.
The Seahawks, I'm hoping Dunlap plays next week. I think he will. I've been told by Pete Carroll that Jamal Adams is back. And I'm not 100% sure on Shaquille Griffin's injury. So I don't know if he's going to be back. But getting those two guys, I think, is going to be huge. And I think it's going to be a fairly similar game to this week in that the Hawks will be up something in the ballpark of 17-6 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll give up some points late. And it'll be 34-27.
Pretty typical. So the game will not be as close as the final score shows.
I think it'll be closer than this week.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo's better.
Buffalo just has a better offense, but their defense is
the offense of the San Francisco 49ers. Sorry, guys out there that love the ugly gold color. Oh, it's puke worthy. Man, I was having this conversation with this Niners fan this week. Why don't old school teams rebrand? It makes no goddamn sense to me. Those colors are disgusting.
Just the
people.
whole style.
The whole thing is gross. Yeah. The whole thing. You're wearing puke yellow pants. That's what you choose to wear.
They just need their leather helmets.
The Seahawks' previous uniforms were disgusting.
Yeah.
Now they're the best in the league.
Yeah.
Because they had designers who know what they're fucking doing rebrand.
Times change, man. Colors get
Let's
updated,
change it up.
right? Yeah,
Change
please.
it up. Washington football team, pick a goddamn name. Niners, change your fucking colors and logo. I feel like someone needs to hire us, Carl.
You want to design a jersey next week?
It can't get any worse.
It cannot.
Who else?
No.
The Packers are lame as fuck. Their helmets are fine, but their jerseys that are just green with a gold stripe, like, come up with something, guys.
I think the Vikings are up there. They've been just
the Cleveland Browns are atrocious. Like, it's been
the orange
forever.
and the
there's a brown jersey, and then it says in letters, block letters that you found on like Microsoft Word, 1997. It says Browns at the top of the jersey in orange.
Yeah,
brown and orange. Those are not colors that go together.
No, it's throw up. It's puke, man.
There's other teams that are shit. I think the Dolphins turquoise is weird.
The Jaguars, I don't really like. Panthers are kind of really old looking with the turquoise, blue, white, kind of black.
Do you think it's just like I wonder who's in charge of that? Has to be the owner.
Yeah.
But you're getting advice from other people. Do you think, here, Carl, you're the owner of, let's say, one of the original football teams in the league?
Oh, yeah.
Who's that? Pittsburgh was probably one of the original ones. Green Bay was one of the original ones.
Dallas, probably.
Who were we just talking about? Oh, San Fran was probably pretty early.
Yeah.
One of those teams that is super traditional. Do you appreciate the tradition and want to carry it on? Or do you update to the 21st century?
I think it's all fan feedback. I think you got to talk to your fans, stadiums, and see what they say. If people Want an update? You got to hire a fucking professional designer and update it.
I say you tell your fans to go fuck themselves and buy a new goddamn jersey, you cheap bastard.
No matter what, eh? Yeah, there's a lot of bad ones out there.
There's a lot of bad ones. The Seahawks were so bad in the 80s.
Yeah.
Look at Seahawks 80s
It was like
jerseys.
that gray kind of, right?
And then it went to almost as bad. Like it went from 1 out of 10 to 1.75 out of 10. And then now I think they're like 9. Like their branding is super good, I think, right now.
Because they brought in that highlighted green, right? And then they kind of changed their blue a little bit.
So the blue jersey that came out, I can't remember when Nike took over. Nike took over from Reebok for the NFL official. I'm going to guess. Let me guess. 2013.
So close. You're off by 1.
14? 12.
2012.
It's close. Because it was around the time that Russell Wilson came in the league, I think.
Oh,
I don't think he wore the old jerseys.
Dude, they're fucking horrible.
But the old ones were kind of like pastel-y, greeny blue.
Yeah.
It wasn't like navy like it is now. They were weird. And the old Seahawks logo just looks like a deranged bird.
It's just, nothing sticks out. It's just the entire jersey just blended in, and
It's exactly.
it's boring.
Yeah, those ones. Whereas now I think they're sweet.
But I mean, like, you can bring in a highlight green and ruin your jerseys real quick. But I think the way they did it is super modern and super.
It's sweet.
It's
man.
cool.
I
It's a
love
cool
these
look.
things. I wanted to buy one the first day I saw them.
Because what's your favorite look right now? It's the green top with the blue pants, or was it the full green?
I think my favorite is just the blue jerseys.
Blue jerseys.
I like that they get to wear the green twice a year. I think that's sweet.
The full green, yeah.
Yeah, I think the full gray looks really good. What I really want to see, what Bobby Wagner's posted about, is a black jersey
Oh shit, eh?
with matte black helmets,
Yeah.
and the accent color where the blue is here is the lime green.
So black and lime green, eh? That's
all black.
sick.
Numbers, even the numbers are black. Just the lime green accents where the navy is on this jersey. I think that would look super sweet.
That would look really good.
Yeah. And then like black pants, maybe neon, like the green socks or something. No, those aren't even the ones.
Because
the
numbers are off, right?
Yeah. Those like people have done a lot of mocks of them.
Mm-hmm.
But someone posted something on social a couple days ago, this week, I think. And I don't know if they got this quote from Bobby Wagner or they just made it up, but they're like, Bobby Wagner's not retiring until he wears a black Seahawks jersey.
That's freaking dope.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day it happens, because that would be cool to see.
It's going to happen. You know what? They've actually made a couple really cool Army. I know they have like
That's
Army
correct.
appreciation
Yeah.
or whatever in September. And they've made a couple really sweet black camo Seahawks jerseys. I think they're like black with a camo number. And they look really cool. But they only release them. No, not the.
There's even a different pair, right? Or different kind.
They had one this year that was black. And then it had like a gray camo number.
Oh.
It looks sweet. They sold them on NFL.com for like 2 weeks, but they only produced Russell Wilson ones. And they were sold, like, I looked probably the second day they came out, and all they had left was 3XL.
Yeah, just take it in a little bit.
The jersey fucking scene is atrocious. NFL.com doesn't give a fuck about sales.
No, they don't.
What the hell, man?
They're making too much money off games and stuff. But
Why not?
money is money. Money is, yeah.
Why not have an option to customize a jersey to your liking?
You can pick your exact colors,
Charge me
exact player,
$400.
everything.
I don't give a shit. Let me do it.
Yeah.
I want a Jamal Adams jersey that is gray with the blue numbers
Yep.
and Adams on the back that is stitched. That's all I want.
You just get a machine that stitches the jersey as soon as you order it, like how Amazon does with books.
They have the option to customize the printed ones. They just don't look good.
They don't
The
look
printed
good.
ones don't look good.
No.
But you can put whatever you want on it. You could put number 187 and put Carl Sabula on the back. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Am I eligible to receive with that number, Denny?
I think you have to announce.
Okay.
Number 187 is reported as eligible.
This guy's roughing.
Refs were better last week. We do get fucked a bit, though.
They do, yeah. There's still a couple plays that kind of stuck out a bit.
Russ got hammered pretty hard one time. He kind of half slid. Remember that one?
He didn't fully commit, yeah, and the guys kind of cleaned it up. It's tough to watch.
You know who the first guy in there was to push the other guys off and start the fight? Because there was a little bit of a brouhaha that started.
Was it Metcalf?
It was DK.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course it was. I think DK's and Russell Westbrook's relationship is going to...
Russell who?
Westbrook. They actually brought him in from Oklahoma or from Houston. I always get the Wilson, not the basketball player. I think their relationship is going to take their game to the next level. I think they're super bro-y. I think they love hanging out, and I think it makes a difference. Because sometimes, like, you get chippy on the field, right? Shit doesn't go your way, and the biggest thing is how do you react to that? Mm-hmm. And I think you hear like Russ like talking to TJ and just mentioning all these things, like keep your head up. This is all you, right? Whatever. I think that's huge. I think that's so big for development, for the future, for everything, and it's awesome to see.
It's something that's not on the stats, right?
No.
So when you look at like MVP, I think it has to be things that are outside of stats, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't think there's anyone more valuable to their squad than Russell Wilson at this current moment in time.
I agree.
I don't know what Patrick Mahomes is like in the locker room, but I can't imagine at his age he is nearly as good
experience,
as Russ is.
I can't. No, I don't.
I can't imagine if a rookie running back is starting his first game because 7 guys in front of him got hurt, that Russ is going, or that Patrick is going up to him and saying, "Hey, dude, the great ones always start from somewhere. Mm-hmm. This is your start, bro."
Mm-hmm. So